Good afternoon. I am Andrea Chisholm with the Midday News for this Tuesday, January 21. A special welcome if you're watching on onespotmedia.com. The parliamentary opposition has signaled that it intends to table a censure motion in the House of Representatives against House Speaker Pearnel for his handling of the Auditor General's report on the CMU. The Caribbean Maritime University CMU has been at the center of several financial and procurement breaches. Member of Parliament for St. Andrew South Eastern, Julian Robinson, says Mr. Charles misled the House last week about reasons for not tabling the report. He says that was a breach of a parliamentary procedure.
The Speaker misled the House by indicating that he did not have a report from the Auditor General, which was in fact in his possession. And it's very important that we treat this matter seriously. The Auditor General is a constitutional position. The Speaker is obliged, once he receives a report, to table it immediately. And we had a case where the report was delivered late December to the House, and the Speaker intimated that he didn't have the report, thereby misleading the House. Now, you cannot have a case where a political representative can have a veto or block the report of an Auditor General. And we regard the actions of Speaker Charles as extremely grave and unfortunate. And as such, I am tabling a censure motion against it.
Consumer optimism remains high. That's according to the latest JCC Business and Consumer Confidence Report. It reveals that business conditions and future job expectations are the contributing factors for the boost in consumer optimism. Approximately 42% of participants in the survey indicated that they expect to get better jobs in the future. At the same time, 39% of participants indicated that business conditions will get better. According to the report, consumers have strong confidence in the economy as more persons are finding jobs, particularly in the construction sector. 600 residential consumers participated in the Consumer Confidence Survey. With the statin reporting a decline in the country's unemployment rate, economist and opposition Senator Dr. Andre Horton says there might be trouble if that data does not filter into other economic results. TVJ's O'Shane Masters explains.
On Friday, statin released reports which showed Jamaica's unemployment rate dropped to 7.2% as of October 2019. This is 1.5 percentage points lower than it was at this time last year. That means 29,200 more people were employed in October last year when compared to October 2018. But for economist and opposition Senator Dr. Andre Horton, the reduction in the unemployment rate is not being reflected in other economic indicators, such as the country's gross domestic product, GDP. He says this is cause for concern, especially for the government.
When you look at the broad economy and you zero in and stand to blocks and say you meticulously scrutinize the numbers, you'll realize that most of the employment is really lower level unskilled jobs.
Criticisms also for statin based on their method of gaining data for the unemployment figures. Dr. Horton believes statin's method of surveying persons who have worked for a week is flawed and should be revisited.
In my opinion, if you were to classify somebody as being employed, this somebody would either have to be on a contract or have to be permanently employed or so on. And I really like the work that Statin is doing. I don't want to bash them, but at the same time, we have to think carefully at what is our objective as a country. Is our objective to report isolated numbers just to look good because we want to say, okay, employment is this and that just for the paper? Or is our objective to provide real work, real employment for our people who have suffered and has been through so much?
When asked if his viewpoint was political, as this method have been used by Statin for decades, he gave this response.
This is the reason why I entered politics, because a lot of things that have been done in the past have not been done in the benefit of the country, in the benefit of Jamaica. If this is the measure that we are employing, and we are saying that the employment should be something that is defined as stable.
Dr. Horton was speaking on Power 106 FM's Morning Agenda on Tuesday. O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
The Jamaica Teachers Association, JTA, has added its voice to the call to stem the dengue crisis. For the JTA president, in addition to impacting communities and the health sector, the education sector is also being affected.
The fight to stop the spread of dengue continues. The Health Ministry outlined the related statistics, noting that healthcare facilities are being impacted by the increasing number of cases. President of the Jamaica Teachers Association, JTA, Owen Speed, has lauded the government's January 24 to 26 cleanup project as a great initiative. As he says, several schools have lost students because of dengue.
It is not a good thing that we are having so many of our children, and in fact we have had our adults dying from dengue as well.
He did not give details on the numbers from each school, but notes that each fatality has a ripple effect on the schools and others around it.
Puts a strain on us at school because we don't have the necessary manpower sometimes. The human resources are lacking in the schools, and when the children lose their siblings and they come to school, we have that to deal with. We have to be the counselors for these children, and out of that it just puts a lot of pressure on the system.
Last week, the Health Ministry announced that on January 24, the national cleanup will focus on schools and businesses. On the 25th, the focus will be on towns and communities, while on Sunday, January 26, it will be on households. Mr. Speed has added his voice to that of the Health Ministry with this plea to residents.
To clean up their surroundings and to get rid of those instruments that may help to breed mosquitoes, because that is the cause of this whole episode that we are facing. And as far as I am concerned, it is going on too long.
And it's time for a break, but stay with us here on the Midday News. We have more stories right after these messages. Welcome back, and we're continuing the news. Relatives and friends of two brothers who died in Sunday's motor vehicle accident in Falmouth, Trelawney are still trying to come to grips with their loss. 34-year-old Omar Russell and 31-year-old Omroy Russell from Portland were among 4 persons killed when a car collided with a tour bus. TVJ's Prince Moore reports.
Tragedy as the reality sunk in for the family and friends of Portland brothers who lived in Free School, Port Antonio. They say they will be greatly missed. The mother of the men expressed great sadness in losing her sons, but said she's trying to remain strong.
Can't believe my 2 boys just gone, left me so. You understand? So right now, so try to hold up, hold the tears, everything, and just try to be strong. Just put the best outside.
Their father, Fitzroy Russell, said he had a good relationship with his sons.
My God, I got the hardest way for them to live, for them to okay and everything all right with them. There's a set, a loving, humble. I teach them to have love, humble, have manners to people. I mean, I always tell them, say, manners carry them through the whole world. And I don't leave nothing. I always show them the right way that they can live right. There is a 2 good youth gone there.
Omar and Omroy are the only sons for their parents. Aunt Patricia Russell Brand described the men as loving and humble.
Knowing that they were so humble and they were so helpful to the parents, they are so, I can't explain about those two. I never hear the quarrel, they never fight. The parents, they just grow in a way where, oh my God, they are gonna be missed. And me, I tell you the truth, I love my 2 nephews so much, and I miss them so much.
Meanwhile, the assistant manager at CC Bakery in Port Antonio, where the 2 men worked, described them as hard-working.
Omar Russell and Omroy Russell have been working here for a long time. Very outstanding, hard-working young man. You know, not a regular. young man, you sit on the roads, drink, smoke, hard working, you know. sad that we missed them this morning. All staff members in mourning. We hardly do any work this day.
4 men, including the 2 brothers, died in the crash. One of the 3 persons hospitalized is a female Canadian tourist. It's understood that the men were taking her from Portland, where she was on vacation, to the Censure International Airport. The driver of the car overtook a line of traffic and collided with the coach, which was coming in the opposite direction. Prince Moore, TVJ News.
U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is expected to arrive in the island today, but CARICOM leaders continue to express concerns. Trinidad and Tobago says it supports Barbados' position not to send a representative to the meeting with the U.S. Secretary of State in Kingston. In a statement yesterday, Trinidad's Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley said the CARICOM chairman and Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley has his country's backing. Dr. Rowley says he believes in the principles and visions of Caribbean unity. On Sunday, Ms. Mottley said that as CARICOM chairman, she will not agree to send her Foreign Affairs Minister to Jamaica to meet with Pompeo when some members of CARICOM were not invited. She described the move as an attempt to divide the CARICOM region. An unidentified man died after he was hit by a Jamaica Urban Transit Company JUTC bus near Meadowrest Memorial Gardens in St. Catharines Sunday afternoon. An alleged eyewitness said the man jumped onto the side of a moving trailer as the trailer passed the bus.
The man he on the truck, he on the side of the truck, and the JTC I come up and the truck did I go down. And then no JTC that come up and the truck did I go down. Yeah. And on the side and him that come up and the truck, the bus just rub him together in between and him squeeze and him drop off and drop back at the bus. So probably the truck go over him or one of the bus or a truck wheel, one of them go over him, so him get crushed.
And in sports, the Office of the Children's Advocate is reporting an increase in instances of child abuse in school sports. More parents and guardians are, however, pushing for justice on behalf of their children. TVJ's Karen Madden reports.
In an exclusive interview with TVJ Sports, children's advocate Diane Gordon Harrison revealed that over the 3-year period 2017 to 2019, there has been an increase in incidents. According to her, 4 cases were reported in 2017, 7 cases in 2018, and 12 in 2019, accusing coaches and sports managers of a gamut of abuses.
When we talk about acts of violence, we're talking about physical violence, which would be the beatings and so on. We're talking about sexual violence. And of course, there's emotional violence, where there's no physical contact that is made, but the kind of contact one is inappropriate and tends to vitiate against the well-being of the child's emotional or psychological state.
She also revealed a worrying trend.
We saw, for instance, that the vast number of cases were sexual offense matters, in which we had all sorts of propositions, photographs of body parts, requests for certain things to be done in terms of sexual favors of the full gamut, are really coming into the main as part of the focus. In fact, if I may refer to my notes, we saw that 13 of the reports were of a sexual nature.
Gordon Harrison gave details of some of the cases.
Another 7 were physical abuse in the form of beatings, and then we had 2 forms of negligence, and also there was 1 emotional where the child alleged that she found out that she was pregnant and she was encouraged to have an abortion by the coach.
And though daunted by the lengthy legal process and the fear factor, the children's advocate says an increased number of parents are insisting on justice.
Now, we know that for a very long time, America has been a very litigious culture, and it has caught on to some extent within Jamaica. And so you do find that you have more parents who are pressing matters to the farthest extent that they can take it, if they feel that there has been a wrong that has been done to their child, and if they think that the wrong is so egregious that they should in fact get some remedy on behalf of their child.
In recent times, a case of physical abuse at Veer Technical resulted in an out-of-court settlement, while a football coach at Mona High School was sentenced to a combined 16 years and 3 months in prison as punishment for having had sex with a 15-year-old minor. And earlier this month, a mother of a former Heidel student-athlete accused a member of the staff at the St. Catherine-based school of beating her daughter with a tennis racket. That case is one of those now being investigated by the Children's Advocate. Karen Madden, TVJ Sports.
And that's the Midday News. I'm Andrea Chisholm. Join us at 7 for the Primetime News Package. On behalf of the news, sports and production teams, good afternoon.